Let's go for it. Okay. Don't know if I like this shirt on or not, but it's green and it's my favourite colour, so I'm going to give it a go. See what happens. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. I hope you're keeping safe and well. Thank you so much for the la 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 la. Let's try that again, shall we? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. If you're new here, welcome. It's very nice to meet you. Today's video, I wasn't sure. I had two different ideas that I was going to film, and one was going to be another reaction video and one was going to be a theatre fails video, and as you can see by the title, I've gone with the theatre fails video. I just feel like with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, with the virus, with the BLM movement, with... I feel like there was something else. Oh my god. Basically, with everything that's going on in the world, I feel like we all need a little break to laugh. Obviously, like I said in my previous video, I fully support the BLM movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, for anyone that doesn't know. I fully support it, and I've been doing my best to educate myself and do everything I can to help. So I just feel like with everything that's going on, we all need a little bit of a break and a little bit of a laugh, just to keep us all a bit sane, because obviously right now it's a crazy time, and for people's mental health they need to take a little break. That's not to stop supporting and stop signing petitions and everything and doing everything you can to educate yourself and to help in any way. I'm not saying to stop that. I'm not saying to stop the protests. I'm just saying sometimes we need a little bit of a break. So I decided to film a video. So I'm going to film my theatre fails, and trust me, there is quite a few. For anyone that knows me, I'm very accident prone. Have been all my life. I don't know what's wrong. Like, I could fall over air. It's quite a serious problem. So a lot of these are me falling off, falling over, doing something stupid in the theatre. But there's also some other little ones in there of when other stuff goes wrong that's not actually my fault. So the first little story, I suppose a story. Yeah, it is a story. It is a story. So my first little story time within this video is my first ever performance. So as I've said before, I started acting when I was 4. However, my first show wasn't until I was 5, and it was a production of Oliver Twist. And as you, well, if you know the musical or know the film, there was a lot of children involved in this production. So I was just an extra. I had excuse me, I shouldn't have done that water. I was sat to the side and had my own little, I think I just had to bang a bowl in tune. In time with the music, which a lot of people can't do at older ages, so no tea, no shade. So I just had to bang a bowl in time with the music, so I wasn't really anything, wasn't really a big role or anything, but at the end of, so it was in, I remember being in Food, Glorious Food. I'm not sure what other songs I was in, but I know I was in that one. So at the end of that song there was a blackout, and the stage had like a upper bit at the back of the stage, and all the kids were trying to get off the stage in this blackout. So I was holding hands with my brother, because my brother was in it as well, and he was like trying to guide me off the stage, but I could not see a thing. Like, I couldn't even see the light in the wings because there were so many kids like trying to push past, and I got really freaked out. And I actually think that's where my fear of the dark sort of came from. So I couldn't see to get off the stage, and I was gripping onto my brother's hand, and all these kids were pushing past, and one of them pushed into me, not intentionally, not in like an evil way, but they pushed into me, and I fell off the back of the stage. I honestly don't know how I wasn't traumatised and never acted again in my life, because it was the most terrifying thing. So I fell off the back of the stage, so like the upper level of the back of the stage. So I not only fell off that level, but I then fell like all the way down to the back of the stage. So it was quite a drop. But not only did I fall, because I had hold of my brother's hand, he came down as well. I thought, if I'm going down, hun, so are you. So I pulled my brother down with me. So we were both led at the back of the stage, and my mum was actually in the audience with one of her friends, and they heard a scream, and my mum just looked at her friend and was like, "That's Katie." Like, I was that accident prone, she just knew, out of the like 50 odd children that were on that stage, that scream of someone falling off the back of the stage was more. It was so bad, but not like, it's weird. Like, I don't really remember much of like the back part of the stage, but I do know that there was some bricks there. I'd managed to avoid falling on the bricks. However, where I'd pulled my brother down, he fell on one of the bricks. I think they were like there to weight a curtain down or something, but he fell on one of the bricks, so I obviously felt awful. I refused to go back on stage for that show. I refused to do any more of the shows. I remember being like so upset and so terrified that I was like, I don't want to do it. And from then on, every time there was a blackout in a show, I had even more of a fear. Like I remember one of the shows I did even in uni, like there was a blackout and I walked so slowly off that they had to extend the blackout, because I was terrified that I was going to walk into something or I was going to injure myself, because obviously a blackout is so sudden and your eyes don't adjust. Yeah, your eyes don't adjust. The fuck are you talking about? Your eyes don't adjust that quickly to the light change. So I get really freaked out in blackouts, and all because when I was 5 I fell off the stage, and I honest to God don't know how I managed to carry on performing. I didn't do any more of those shows, and I think it took me a couple of years to do an actual show again, but like on the promise that there was not going to be a blackout. So there was very rarely blackouts in any of the other shows I did for that company, or there were, but they made sure that there was like safety lights, all because I fell off the stage. I remember someone having to climb over and be like, oh my God, and like pick me up and pick my brother up and get us off. And I just had a full meltdown. I think my dad was teching the show. My dad teched quite a lot of my shows when I was younger, so I feel like my dad was teching, and he was obviously like, what the hell? Because obviously he had to carry on with the show. But it was not a good time. 5 years old. Traumatising. Anyway. Okay, so my next little theatre fail. Anyone that was with me in uni will know this story. So we were doing a show called Building Gone Now that was written for my contemporary class and the musical theatre degree, that we were combined, and we were doing this full show of both classes, which that's another story in itself. However, so we were on the tech rehearsal, we were doing the dress rehearsal just before the show. It was like, I want to say like an hour, half an hour maybe before the actual first show, and one of our big lights, like one of our main lights for the show, blew. And it didn't just blow, like the bulb didn't just go, it wasn't like they could change the bulb, but the whole light exploded. Like, I don't know, I still don't really know what happened. I don't know if they know what happened. I have a feeling it may have got too hot, but then like that's what theatre lights are supposed to do, so I don't really know. But it exploded, and we were all sat there like, oh my God, what the hell? Because we thought something really bad had happened, because we could just hear this noise. Then we were like, oh crap, the light's gone. And it was like, the rig was like hanging off. But the worst part about it is that was our only one of those lights. So it was one of the lights that had the main cues for the show. So we used it more often than anything else. So we had to replace that light. But we didn't have any more on the campus. So I remember our head technician being like, right, we've got to find a light, because otherwise we're going to have to replot the entire show and we don't have time. So I remember 2 of them like getting in a car and like racing off to find a replacement light, which I'm not a techie, so I would have no idea how or where they got this light, but they managed it. managed to set it up and program it, I think with like delaying the show by like, I want to say like maybe 5-10 minutes. So how they managed that in that time, I do not know. Honestly though, when something like tech-wise goes so wrong, it does like completely mess up a show. Because if you think about stuff in the West End especially, like Wicked for example, if she's not in, spoiler alert if no one's seen Wicked, if she's not in her I want to say clamp, it's not, I don't think it's called a clamp, but if she's not in the clamp properly for Elphaba to fly, then they don't lift her up. And it's the same with Glinda in the Bubble, like if she's not in it properly, they don't move the, like, but then it obviously completely alters the show. But something so, like something like a light blowing, if that was to happen, if that happened in the middle of our show, we would have had to have stopped the show, because it completely exploded, and obviously that then puts the people underneath it in a bit of an issue, a bit of a pickle. If any of that exploded down onto them, I don't really know how it exploded. I don't know if it exploded just in the cage or, but it was a drama. So some things happen, and sometimes you just have to hope for the best. Oh my god, this... So I've just read what was my next theatre fail, and this is probably the most embarrassing moment I've ever had on stage. Like, the most embarrassing moment. And it wasn't actually anything to do with me, but it was to do with our whole cast. Again, it was Building Gone Now. See a running theme here with that show. Quite a few problems. But we'd opened for a preview. So I actually think that the light may have exploded before the preview then. Or was it before? I can't remember. It was either before an actual show or before a preview. But so we basically, our preview was our open dress rehearsal. So we'd already done a dress rehearsal and plot and everything, but we did like an open dress. So that some people that, because there was one year in the college, because obviously I was at a college campus, there was one year that couldn't make the actual shows because I think they were doing a unit, one of their units or something, so they came to our preview performances, which normally, fab, if you do a preview, normally, like, they're like fine, it like stops every now and again, like cool, because we're obviously still, but by that point, you should sort of know what you're doing. But the thing is, okay, so Building Gone Now, the script was very similar in lots of places, and it was very much like, this person said this bit, then it led on to this person, then it led on to this person, and like, but a lot of it was sort of samey. That's not a word. I'm gonna go with it. A lot of it was sort of samey, so it was very hard sometimes to keep up with where we were in the script. But we thought, right, we've got this, we've nailed it, we've rehearsed it so many times, we know what we're doing. Someone said their line, which was very similar to one of their other lines, and instead of so for example, person 1 said their line and person 2 was supposed to follow up that line. However, because it was very similar to another line, person 3 said their line instead of person 2 saying their line. So basically what happened is someone said a line too early than what they were supposed to, and we ended up going round in a loop. So we'd already done this part of the script, and it was supposed to be that person 2 carried it on to the next part of the script. However, person 3 thought we'd gone, like, thought he hadn't said his line, so that we then had to we then did another loop through, and we'd done this like twice before any of us realised we've already done this bit. We were sat there and we'd looped it through twice, and then someone was like, hang on, we've already, and we all started to click, but we were all like, we've got an audience, we've got to just carry on, but we've got to try and figure out ourselves. And then it got to like almost the third time going through it again, and we'd all worked out who had said it wrong and everything, apart from the person that had said it wrong. So the rest of the cast knew where we'd gone wrong, apart from that one person. So they kept doing it, so we were like stuck in this loop for a while, until our director was like, guys, you said this like 4 times. And we were like, yeah, we know it's because so-and-so said the wrong line, blah, blah. We were trying to like overcome it. but it just didn't work. So everyone got really annoyed, everyone got really stressed out, and everyone was blaming everyone else, and it took a while for us to work out what we'd done. So we managed to get to the interval of the show. So we all took a break, and the audience were like told, oh, like come back in like 5-10 minutes or something for the second half. So we come in to do the second half, there is no audience. The audience of like, I think it was like 10 pupils or something, they had left because it was such a travesty. Even they were like, we're out, we can't deal with it, soz hands, we're out. And I have never been so mortified to finish that run through and go out and all of us be like, they left, they didn't even want to come back because they knew it was a shambles. Like, we all knew it was a shambles, but for the audience to not even have that like encouragement to be like, yeah, keep going, we're here for you, they left as well. So we obviously then, when we were on a break between like, because then we did another rehearsal later on to try and like stop that happening in a show, and if it did happen in a show, we worked out our way for someone else to just say the line so it would like keep going. However, the audience that we had told other people how bad it had gone and that they'd left. So no one was very excited to come and watch this show. Thankfully, though, it didn't happen in a show. But the fact the audience left, I've never been so mortified in my life to have an audience even give up and be like, this is a hot mess. Because I have seen some, I'm going to be honest, I've seen some awful shows in my time, but never have I gone, this is too much, I can't go back and watch that second half. Never. And the fact that they left, I was like, right, that's it, I give up, I don't even want my degree anymore, I want to go home. I want to go home, I'm done, get me out of here. I'm a ginger, get me out of here. I'm so sorry, that was really poor. But mortified, absolutely mortified. So, I'm really laughing at these stories. I mean, some of you might not even find this very funny, but is my camera still recording? I think so. I hope so. It's still on anyway. So, another story was me injuring myself. So, I was watching one of the performances that the... Is it first year degree? I feel like when I was in second year it was the first year degree, but it might have been the last college performance. I can't really remember. It was a year or a couple of years below me. So we'd gone to watch this performance in the evening after uni, and everything was fine. Really good show, came out in the interval, went back in after the interval. I was stood with my friend and my housemate, and she was talking to someone, but she'd like walked up the rig and I'd walked up behind her, but she stepped back to talk to someone, but in doing so hadn't realised that I was stood directly behind her, so I went to step back as well, but instead of stepping on the step, I misjudged where the step was and I fell, my leg fell through the rig, the seating rig. And I fell onto my already injured knee from years ago, and all of the tutors were like, oh, her knee! And I was like, as if this is happening in front of this full auditorium, and I've just stacked it, and all of the teachers have seen, and all of them have made such an issue of it. So I was there like, oh my god, and I was like, right, I really hurt my knee, but I also think I've really done something to my toe. So our head of year came over and was like, oh my god, Katie, are you okay? And I was like, no, I've really done something to my toe and I'm so embarrassed. Like, I do not want to be in here right now. So they were like, okay, we'll help you out to like the office. So they helped me out to like the box office. And I was like, my knee hurts, but I know I've really done something to my toe. Like, I can feel it's not right. So they were like, get her shoe off. So I took my shoe off, took my sock off, and I'd cracked my toenail in half on my toe, and it was like bleeding. Like my camera died. Yeah, it's a nightmare. So sometimes, that is my last story because my camera is going to die and my camera hates me, so sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself and laugh at the situation and look back at it and go, what the hell? And just think, I hope to God it doesn't happen again. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and a comment if you have anything you want me to do next time, and if you have anything you want me to react to next time, that'd be cool. So let me know what you think, and hope you will stay safe and well, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.